Aglorev Magazine Live is brought to you by
Feroga Leilani's Energy Exchange. Express yourself without saying a word.
and
Aglorev Entertainment. Mind, body, soul, energy healing.
Welcome back to Aglorev Magazine Live. It feels like an eternity since you were last here. So much has happened. We'll catch up to the stars, both astrologically and in the world of music. Both experiences will leave your head spinning. I'll give you some commitment guidelines that can help you gauge the interest in your relationship. We'll analyse the relationships of the amazing race and cover the controversy over the American Idol winner, Lamar. And Elon Musk has washed his hands of politics for now. And if you're still here, of course, I'm going to make you laugh. So stick around. So, Saturn is officially in Aries. Have you been noticing your mind changing at all? Has your mind had an easier time of letting things go? Different mentalities, different perspectives, paradigms. It's like you're making space in your mind for something new right now. Because Saturn is in Aries and is partially ruling over Pluto that is retrograde in Aquarius, which basically means we are getting out of contracts, some of which may have been made in our minds. Things that we just made mental agreements on and maybe didn't even realise. Suddenly, we get to stop doing that. It could be anything, spell work that you've been thinking about, trying to figure out. And for whatever reason, you just haven't gotten the answer yet. Now, it might show up. Now, you might actually have the answers to the conclusions that you've been looking for. No more illusion. No hate on illusion magic. But sometimes the truth and reality are actually better. Most of the time. Pretty much always. Also, interesting with this transit in the Pluto retrograde, Saturn just entering Aries, we also have Uranus, which is the other ruler of Aquarius in Taurus right now, ruled by Venus. And Venus is also in Aries. Lots of mental mind chatter. Aries is ruled by Mars. Mars is ruled by Leo. Leo is ruled by the Sun, which is also in Gemini. So we are mentally chatting. Take the time to sit down and have those conversations with yourself about mentally cleaning house. Get rid of the things in your mind that maybe don't align with who you're becoming. I know when I first felt Saturn in Aries, it was like, oh my, I can think again. I've been waiting for this. My head is clear. Finally, I can think. I don't know about you, but that was my experience. Almost immediately, when Saturn entered Aries, so expect the mental cobwebs to clear and keep clearing. Once Saturn goes retrograde later in the year, starting on July 13th, we're more than likely going to start experiencing a lot of new paradigms. The things that we need, making sure that we stay on track and don't get sent back to where we were. We're clearing space. And then when Pluto goes retrograde, and also Saturn, we need to double down. Translation: with Pluto, new life can get ushered in. We're not just focused on the removal. We're not just focused on the letting go. Right now, the letting go is helping new stuff come in. And when both retrogrades increase the intensity, we're going to be experiencing more new things coming through. Especially if you have Pluto, a Saturn, or a Uranus that is retrograde in your chart. So keep that in mind. All the rulers of any of the other planets that go retrograde, you're going to feel some extra new life. Also, Uranus, the other ruler of Aquarius, goes retrograde in September 6th. So then we're going to have Pluto and Saturn and Uranus all retrograde at the same time. Oh my. September 6th to October 11th, probably going to feel like some of the most intense weeks of the year. Do I know what's going to happen for you? No. Do I know it's going to be a lot? Yes. September 6th is also right before eclipse season. We're going to have big movement of eclipses during September. Lots of changes. We're going to talk about the eclipse a little later when we get closer to them. But just for perspective on kind of like the timing of things. And then we get into October 13th. Pluto turns around and goes direct. So buckle up. Once we get to September, just a fair warning, notice everything that you're letting go of and everything that is rearranging, new things that could be coming in up until September. We're making big decisions during eclipse season, and it takes about 6 months for those things to implement. So we have a grounding point, or a checkpoint if you will. We're entering into the middle of our nodes, the north node being in Pisces and the south node being in Virgo. Going to be closer to the middle of that transit in September, and then not quite the middle, but close. It's going to be the final eclipse season where we will have Pisces and Virgo eclipses. Next year, we'll be interacting with Leo and Aquarius lunar nodes. So enjoy the summer and make sure that as you're going through the summer, that you're mentally preparing. Because again, Saturn and Aries are about mental order, mentalities. How are you keeping order and structure up here? Reminding yourself about things. Say good things about yourself. There are loads of different mental practices that could be applicable at this time. And Aquarius has to do with society and rebellion, creativity. There are loads of aspects to it, how we unbind from the structures that have been to create new things, like being ahead of your time, kind of things. So if you're feeling a bit mental, I feel like with the transits, it attracts a bit of nutter energy. We're supposed to be feeling different. These upcoming couple of months, our minds are going to change. The way that our minds is changing now is going to set the foundation of how society changes for the entire Pluto and Aquarius transit. That's also a mad thing to think about it, but it's a real thing to think about it. I know I have been. Also, the first week of September, we have Saturn in retrograde, re-entering Pisces. So we're going to feel that magnify the eclipses as well. And we have an eclipse in Pisces coming up in September. So, like I said, September to October are some of the most intense weeks of the year. You thought we had an intense March, but hold on. We still have things to do, but it'll be different kind of intensity. March had an intense destructive energy, but I feel like March and that eclipse season was like, let's get rid of everything. So many endings to the story. Ending, death, destruction. Ready for the new beginning. And then, when we get to September, we're kind of going back to touch base on all the things that we've done. Simultaneously, we have to get in gear. We don't have another year. It's going to be done pretty soon. We have to get it done now. And there's no time for delays. That's how it'll be in September. So heads up. Make sure you don't procrastinate. If you know there are things that you need to be doing up until September and or for the transitions that are going on until 2026, don't let yourself procrastinate. That's my personal advice. And if you're feeling late, know that you're not. You're not late. Don't check the date. Go with your intuition. And if you know that you're doing what you need to do, then don't stress. Sometimes the universe puts us behind so that we can realize that we're sitting in what we've asked for. And if you're doing any manifestation work with Saturn, you have to spend time in the manifestation that you already created so that you can realize what you like about it and what you don't like about it, and then get hyper specific about what you are bringing in. and Saturn in Pisces, where we're retrograding back into and where Saturn just came out of, is all about making the transitions. What do you want to change in your life? And being diligent about it. Loads of people are about to get elevated by the end of this year and early 2026. Let yourself be elevated in love, through love, with love. And if you are working for that elevation, it's with Saturn, so it'll be difficult to be taken away from you. So as long as you keep up the consistency and responsibility of what it is that you've been building, you'll be all right. And Scorpio season this year, starting in October, will be the final really intense death and rebirth cycle that we'll have for a while. Think about all the crazy death and rebirth things that have been going on over the past 4 or 5 years, influenced by the Scorpio axis of the lunar nodes. Pluto also just moved out of the Capricorn into Aquarius. So finally, we have reached the end of the end. We have new beginnings happening throughout the summer months, and likely starting now in Gemini season, and then getting into Scorpio season once we reach the transformative harvest season. The death and the rebirth. What we are transforming into over the next year. Still intensity coming off of the eclipse season. We're coming off of several years of Scorpio, Pluto heavily influenced changes. But this is going to be kind of the final really intense Scorpio season that we have for a while, thankfully. After this Scorpio season is through, it's going to be like a weight off our shoulders, and you're going to be ready to go into whatever it is that you've been working on. You're going to be like, oh yeah, I did that. I'm done. I did that and I'm done. So have some fun and then get the work done as necessary. The transits will still be transitioning up until January 2026. That's when Saturn and Neptune are going to transition back into Aries. So carry the weight. You got it. You're still making moves. We're still making transitions. And it's a lot. But look at what you got. You got you. And that's well a lot. You're becoming more in tune with your future high self. Greeting yourself with love and make sure that you feel welcomed, safe, and ready. Is there commitment in your relationship? If so, what level? There are ways that you can tell what type of commitment exists in your relationship. You don't need to have a conversation. Merely observe. The levels of commitment influence behaviours. Generally, high levels of commitment are associated with a more pro-relationship behaviour, and low levels may lead to reluctance or resistance. Low commitment or resistant individuals may be resistant to change or new ideas, actively looking for ways to sabotage relationship efforts. Reluctant individuals may be willing to try, but are not fully on board with the changes or the goals. Existent commitment individuals simply exist within the situation. Without strong engagement, compliant individuals may follow directions or comply with the rules, but without genuine engagement or commitment. Cooperative individuals are willing to work together and contribute, but their engagement will be limited. Collaborative individuals are actively involved and contribute to the relationship, demonstrating a higher level of engagement. Con-creative individuals are highly enthusiastic and proactive in growing and changing the relationship and or achieving the goals. As with different levels, there are also different types of commitment. That can give you a clue as to what's going on in your relationship. Effective commitment is where the individual are emotionally attached to the identity of the relationship and will be an almost advocate or an ambassador for the relationship. Continuance commitment individuals stay due to the perceived cost or benefits of leaving the relationship. Normative committed individuals feel obligated to stay, often due to a sense of loyalty or perceived obligation to the relationship. Structural commitment individuals feel compelled to stay due to external factors like perceived social pressures or investments. Moral commitment individuals feel obligated to stay due to a sense of duty or values. Personal commitment individuals stay because they desire to be in the relationship or situation. Now, the behaviours that are associated with high commitment are that they actively support the change of goal. They are taking initiative and going above and beyond, being proactive and seeking out opportunities to contribute. They are showing dedication and perseverance in the face of challenges. They are building a relationship that fosters a positive environment and celebrates successes and learn from failures. Whereas the behaviours that are associated with low commitment are resisting changes and any new ideas, being passive and unengaged, disregarding rules, expectations and boundaries, criticising or sabotaging efforts, seeking ways to avoid responsibility or engagement, potentially withdrawing from the relationship altogether. And there are things that influence commitment, such as clear goals and expectations. Establishing clear goals and expectations help the individual understand what is expected from them and provide a framework for engagement. Individualized support, recognizing and supporting your partner's needs, can foster a sense of value and encourage commitment, leading by example. Sometimes being what you want in a relationship will allow you to receive what you want. Promoting collaboration and accountability. Encouraging collaboration and holding your partner accountable for their actions can foster a sense of shared responsibility and commitment. Recognizing and rewarding contributions can reinforce positive behaviors and increase commitment. Now that you know what to look for, and hopefully what level of commitment, as well as the type of commitment that you require for your ideal relationship, write it down like a contract to yourself. And do not accept anything less. And remember, you don't need to have a conversation. They may tell you what you want to hear. And if you tell someone how to behave, they will, for a bit, and then revert back. But don't give them instructions on how to string you along, because they will, if you benefit them in any way. Simply observe. They will show you who they are by their actions. Don't give a warning or closure. Simply gather your feelings, accept the harsh truth, understand that it's about how you are feeling around them, and not specifically them. You will always have yourself, so protect you and recreate those feelings another way and become whole in yourself so that the external factors are extra and not necessary. Being your own first true love, and the universe will reflect it back to you through your partner. Justin Bieber's shock appearance at SZA's SoFi Stadium show sparked deep concern amongst those involved in the production. Bieber joined SZA on stage during her and Kendric Lamar's Grand National Tour last week. Dressed in all-black outfit, Bieber, 31, sent the crowd into a frenzy as he performed a rendition of the hit collaboration Snooze. Bieber and his wife Hailey, who, as revealed by the US Sun, are battling to save their marriage, happily posted about the performance on social media. However, sources close to SZA and Kendric, as well as staff members working on the sold-out show in Los Angeles, have described the singer as appearing disconnected, erratic, and not fully himself throughout the night. A crew member involved in the concert production said Bieber looked like a ghost, walking around, speaking to himself and making comments that didn't make sense. And the source claimed that the singer was heavily drinking and smoking before going on stage. They felt that the kisses at the end felt forced, like he was doing it to grab attention. Backstage, many were surprised. They felt it was the wrong moment for that kind of display, especially with everything going on in his life. They all felt like he needed to seek help. The US Sun has reported extensively on Bieber's erratic behaviour, which has worried close friends who are urging him to seek help for the sake of his family. Fans also fear for the future, with one taking to social media to urge the Canadian singer to get the help that he needs. A source close to the couple, to SZA and Kendric Lamar team, said that the atmosphere shifted the moment Bieber arrived. It wasn't the Justin that they knew, sources said. He kept asking the same questions over and over, and he had said hi 10 times already. He just seemed out of it, like his mind wasn't there, describing Bieber as a dark-minded version of himself. The source admitted that he was immediately regretful about the decision to bring him on stage. He felt it was a mistake to involve the unpredictable Bieber. Over the past year, Bieber has cancelled large portions of his Justice tour, citing health issues, including his battle with Ramsay-Hunt syndrome, which temporarily paralysed part of his face. There have also been a slew of worrying social media posts showing him smoking bongs and appearing heavily inebriated. Pictures have portrayed an increasingly gaunt appearance. Whilst Bieber and his wife, with whom he shares a 9-month-old son, have maintained a united front publicly, sources close to the pair have revealed that they are at a breaking point. I don't know how long they will be together or if they wait until things explode, but the situation is getting more unbearable week after week, a source close to the couple told the US Sun last week. Even when they're together at home, they avoid being in the same room, and then also travel a lot separately. They mostly do their own thing. Now this part is my personal biased opinion. Anyone in Los Angeles should be aware of the effects of medicinal marijuana. You will repeat yourself. You are present in the moment and internally focused, which is why with proper intention, it can aid in manifestation meditations. Now, coupled with alcohol, it will affect your balance and cognitive skills. Nothing Bieber has done is out of order, based on the knowledge available. However, Bieber does need healing, and he is masking his wounds with intoxicants, as many humans do. He is seeking help, but unfortunately those around him are not the correct sources. Justin, I am sending you healing light. And since we have not physically met, and all I have is your virtual vibration, I pray that it reaches you. If I am ever able to physically touch you, I will take your pain. You have been abused and misguided and don't know how to navigate your life. I will give you peace and direction. I hope that it reaches you. With love, Justin. Elon Musk has strongly criticised Donald Trump's showpiece tax bill, claiming it undermines the work done by his government cost-cutting team. These comments are likely to widen the rift between the billionaire and the president that he bankrolled last year. In a preview of an interview with CBS Sunday Morning, released late on the 27th of May, the Tesla chief executive, who until recently led the so-called Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE, said he was disappointed to see the massive spending bill, which increased the budget deficit and undermines the work that DOGE team is doing. The US House of Representatives last week passed the bill by a single vote, paving the way for the first big legislative success of Trump's second term. It will now be put to a vote in the Senate. the president, who had browbeaten several Republican holdouts in Congress into voting for what he dubbed the big, beautiful bill, called it arguably the most significant piece of legislation that will ever be signed in the history of our country. But whilst cutting some social spending, the bill has attracted strong criticism from deficit hawks, as it will ultimately increase the US national debt by more than 3.3 trillion over the next decade, according to the non-partisan estimates. Musk, who has long claimed that the US would go bankrupt if the deficit was not reduced, appeared to echo the criticism in his comment to CBS, saying that I think a bill can be big or it can be beautiful, but I don't know if it can be both. My personal opinion. The comments by Musk are his strongest rebuke of the Trump administration to date. This following his criticism of the White House trade policy, calling trade star Peter Navarro a moron and dumber than a sack of bricks, and saying that he believed lower tariffs were generally a good idea. Musk also had clashed with some cabinet secretaries over cuts made by Doge of personnel within their agencies. Last month, Musk retreated from his role at Doge, opting to spend more time at his businesses, especially Tesla, which has suffered a sales slump caused in part by his association with the Trump administration. The entrepreneur has said he would be back to spending 24/7 at work and sleeping in conference server or factory rooms. His companies include SpaceX and social media site X. Last week, Musk, who spent nearly $300 million backing Trump and other Republicans in last year's election, said he intended to spend a lot less campaigns in the future, and that he had done enough donating to political causes. Musk has also expressed his frustration with Doge's cost-cutting efforts, which he suggests has been hobbled by legislation. The initiative claims to have saved $175 billion to date, far short of the $2 trillion originally forecasted by Musk. A Financial Times investigation concluded that only a sliver of the purported $175 billion in savings could be verified, as Doge's account was found to be riddled with duplicates and inflated estimates. Okay, so today we are going to be analysing the behaviours of the couples of the Amazing Race, where the premise of the show is to race around the world and do a bunch of obstacles and not obstacles, but different games and strategies and dances and events to compete with each other and be the fastest, and the lowest of each leg, usually each leg, goes home, and then they eliminate you, and then it goes down to the final three, and then you reach the finale. Working this way brings out your true personalities, and it does highlight your working together skills. It does highlight the red flags, how they speak to each other, how they problem solve, how they work efficiently, communication, all of those things. There are 15 pairs, I believe. We won't be going over all of those because some of them, unfortunately, no shade, not memorable. Off topic, I forgot to mention that Kerry said that Gemma was not memorable, and that frustrated me. But anyway, back to the Amazing Race. We are going to start with the least, that lasted the least of my favourites, and that would be Pops and Jeff. They had an adorable relationship, the way they worked together. You could see that they looked at each other like mirrors, and the love that they had for themselves, they had for each other. They were just so proud of each other. It's very beautiful to see relationships like that. I have noticed that a lot of male teams work so well together. I have noticed that I'm always cheering for the homosexual male couples, and they are the ones that last the longest. They have the most adorable chemistry and the best problem solving, and they just have fun. They have more fun. It's interesting, yeah, but that was one of my favorite couples. And then there was Scott and Laurie. That was unfortunate because they worked so well together, and they were adorable, and they were sweet. They were supportive of each other, and I mean, you could see how they had so many children the way they worked together. I don't really remember any red flags. I just wanted to highlight them because they were absolutely adorable and they were sweet. I was hoping for that. I was rooting for them, but everyone knew that they would probably win, which is why they turned on them. Unfortunately, they went home. Then we have Alyssa and Josiah, which actually, let's do them afterwards because they lasted a little bit longer. We will do Brett and Mark for the entire race. Brett and Mark were my favourites. I just felt that they deserved it. When they were eliminated, I was gutted. They have such an adorable relationship, the way they are together, the way they speak to each other, the way they problem solve and communicate. Yeah, they're very good in how they work together. It's interesting that a lot of basically the male on male couples really didn't have red flags in how they treated each other. They had respect, whereas, well, except for Scott and Laurie, they were amazing. But in the other ones they did as well. It was just the one, Jonathan and Anna. Okay, he won me over a little bit towards the end, but Jonathan, oh my goodness, so many red flags. The way he speaks to her, the way he behaved with her, the way he always blamed it on her. And yet when he was bothered, he would cry and he would get emotional, he would shut down. Like, there were so many things. Oh my goodness, like, to be stuck to that man for life with children. Good luck, girl. But like I said, he did win me over, so I do see how you could find him charming. However, my dog goes off slightly with him. I don't want to put that out there because you have a family, but I believe I'll just leave it at that. I won't give the supporting evidence. But the exact opposite of them, which I thought was adorable because they were in the final four together, were Alyssa and Josiah. It was like the dark and light side of the relationships. He was very supportive, the way he spoke to her. They were very sweet to each other. Yeah, it's kind of like he was, I don't know if, I think they were just getting engaged. I don't know, they were newer in their relationship. Perhaps it was easier to act that way. And then we have the winners, Carson and Jack, who have already celebrated wonderful life moments together. They were amazing. I rooted for them. They were great. They were supportive of each other. They looked at each other as being each other's hero, and that's a beautiful thing. That's love, basically. They are platonic. They are best mates, but yeah. Those are the kind of things that you want to look for someone who is interested in you. A little bit of that hero worship. It's kind of necessary from the fella. Then I almost forgot Han and Holden. Oh my gosh, how can I forget those? That was, aside from Jonathan and Anna, oh my goodness, the biggest red flags. I'm pretty sure Holden is gay. I think he may have alluded to that with some of his comments. So it is understandable how he behaves with women and speaks to his sister. It was a little bit almost disgusting the way he would speak to her. He would yell at her and talk down to her, and he said he was there to prove he was a man, but he was actually proving the opposite by his immaturity, the way he would speak to her. And then she would try to encourage him and offer him comfort, he would yell at her to shut up. They were just like, yeah. He's probably, I don't know. But yeah, that's the way when they speak to the women, you can tell there's no respect. And that is key with the man. That is how you know if he respects you. Listen to the way he speaks to you, listen to the way he speaks at you, listen to the words he uses. They will tell you what you want to hear to a certain extent, but they also won't lie. not. Okay, that's wrongly lied, but they will show you who they are. It's hard to explain in this video, but yeah, we're just focusing on the Amazing Race. So yes, that is basically it. The good thing about that is it has a lot. It brings out a lot of good characters and good couples and sweet memories and good. Oh, I forgot about Bernie and Carrigan. They were a little bit red flaggish. They had some soft. That was a girl team. They did have a little bit of emotional blackmail and yelling at each other and calling each other's names and placing blame. All of those. Yeah. Just because you've known someone for years does not mean that they can be a certain way to you. Them being in your life for a certain amount of time does not buy them the right to treat you a certain way. Whether it's the first day or the last day, they need to respect you and they need to treat you the way that you ask them to treat you when you lay out your boundaries. So, never let time dull that respect. And you teach people how to treat you, so don't let them treat you in a way that makes you uncomfortable. Great luck. Okay, so unfortunately we are doing an update on American Idol, and there was some controversy over Carrie Underwood's reaction to Jamal's winning. Apparently she did not stand up whilst he was singing like the other judges, and she did not acknowledge him on the stage after the performance when they all went up to do congratulations. She was also quoted as saying she had hoped a country singer had won. Everyone is entitled to their opinion. I do believe that when you are the judge of a competition, kind of like when you're a teacher or a judge or a position of authority and supreme knowledge, a role model, that you should be a little bit different in how you behave. If you're a manager or an employee, you have different behaviors, different ways that you should be speaking, different things that you should represent you and your personality, and it should always be professional. And this is difficult because I have been a huge fan of Carrie Underwood. I do enjoy her voice, her music, and her messages. If it is true what is being said, and then she did damage control by posting congratulations on social media, I don't know how I feel now. A lot of people are saying they do not want her to come back as a judge on American Idol, and the reason they brought her was for a 20th year anniversary, and yeah, that was good. Maybe that was good enough. I don't know, she didn't really contribute anything fun or positive or exciting. I don't know, she didn't really stand out. I don't know. Yeah, I don't want to say anything negative about her, but my opinion of her has slightly altered. Jamal, everyone knew he was going to win, even the contestants. Brianna Nix said that she knew, so I don't know what to call that. Hopefully it's not something deep. But yeah, congratulations Jamal, and enjoy it, and know that it doesn't matter what anyone else thinks or feels. It's yours and no one can take it away. Yeah, just like the planets are saying, if you do it right, Saturn won't let it be taken away. So yeah, congratulations, enjoy your new life, enjoy your new babes. Yes, and send Carrie some flowers.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, I have a very special treat for you. Please put your hands together in welcoming Varolga Leilani to the stage.
Having an exotic name is like walking around with a puzzle that everyone wants to solve. I just want to throw it away. Strangers that have never heard of it suddenly become experts and confidently break down its etymology based on where they're from. And of course, Uber drivers are always linguists or dialect coaches as their primary job. So they already have something for me by the time I get to the car. Oh, he's like Veronica y Olga. It's like Vera and Olga. It's like Vero y Olga. It's like two names in one. Whatever helps your brain understand it. I don't argue anymore, it's not worth my energy. Strangers try to force me to defend my name in a game of Origin Quest bingo that I never wanted to play. How about you solve the mystery of how to pronounce it first? Verolga. Bloody Sherlock Knot.
And check out the latest from Aglorev Entertainment for all of your level up needs.